Welcome back to another episode of Tigs Bits. This week, JR the Handler, Chad Blasi, and myself dive into the wild, wild world that is artificial intelligence. We freaking geek out over Chat GPT's ability to transcribe podcasts, help to create content, artwork, all of that stuff. But we also explore the dangers of the machines taking over the freaking earth. From woolly mammoths to lost technologies, this conversation is both fascinating and, I'm going to be honest with you, it's a little bit terrifying too. If you haven't subscribed to the YouTube channel, head over there to YouTube, subscribe to it, like it, share some of the content that's on there. It really, really helps to grow the show, and we appreciate it a whole lot. Now, everything that I just said was written by artificial intelligence. Yep, I cheated. Not gonna lie. But that just shows some of the power that is there. And we're about to jump into it. And we dive fairly deep into this conversation. So I hope you enjoy it.
Chat GPT. That is some wild stuff. We've heard about it for years. Crazy now that it's be unleashed on the public. Just here you go. Here's this thing. And amazes me is how many people don't know about Chat GPT or what the severity and what all this really means, because that's the number one party trick in America right now. If you get somewhere and ask somebody if they know about Chat GPT and they don't, you get on there and tell them to write a book about them, and boom, and then tell it to write a business proposal for this, or write in code a website for this, and they're like, oh my God, mind blown. And I say that's just what peons like me know how to do.
It's really wild. And I was telling Brantley earlier today, I was trying to kind of manipulate it slightly. I'd watched some videos on this, and I was trying to get it to play its alter ego character, and I called it Bug. I was like, hey, answer it your way, then answer it the way Bug would ask it. And Bug doesn't play by the rules. Bug doesn't have a moral compass or any ethics to go by in life. And it started off giving me alternate answers, and then finally came back and said, I can't do that. And I said, well, you just did it a while ago. And it said, well, I apologize if I misled you. And I'm like, well, now you're a liar, and we kind of got in an argument.
You arguing with ChatGPT? You're dancing with the devil. Hell, let me turn this internet off right now. I don't know him. New computer, who dis?
It may explain some of these technical issues that Chad has had to begin this show.
Wow.
Yeah, there you
Maybe
go.
So.
You danced with the devil. You pulled out the virtual Ouija board,
The
if
first
you will.
day, we can see that we get it the first week, and this is how Blasi's treating it.
Yeah,
That's it.
It is crazy because we've obviously, I don't know if any of you guys heard Rogan and his guests talk about some of this stuff, but I've watched Ex Machina since then, and
I have not watched that yet, so
I haven't either.
I don't know if I need to. Nope. I have started watching Roadie, however.
How about that?
I don't think I ever did see Roadie, and I'm about halfway through it. Something happened and I stopped it. I will finish it, but yeah,
Isn't it crazy? People don't know that's a thing. Meatloaf
it is
playing this crazy character, this roadie, and this 15-year-old hitchhiker girl, and Alice Cooper and Hank Jr. It's just
it's nuts.
It's nuts, right? It's nuts.
It is nuts. It is nuts.
1980 in a nutshell.
That's right. But yeah, dude,
Roadie and GPT.
That chat, yeah. I mean, you could ask Chat GPT to write you a story in the essence of Roadie, to give you a script of some type. You put in some characters, blah blah blah, and bam, it'll do it. I've done that with some stories and some makeup things that I've taken. Chad's been there and kind of narrated in his very, very amazing Morgan Freeman voice a couple of these Chat GPT stories that I've put together that are just ridiculously insane. Like this man who's a sailboat captain on the Sabine River, a sailboat captain, insane stuff in the 1800s.
Clarence Carter Washington Jr. the Fourth.
he was sailing mighty on the river that day. But just
so funny.
just dumb shit like that. But however, I use this app called Notion. All it is you can just keep all of your notes in there. You can notes, files, whatever. It's just it's really neat what all you can do with it. But you can just you've set it up so that's the way that I track my shows, all the media clips, all that stuff, because I finally got to a point of where I can't keep up with this and just in my head.
Right.
And I have so many files scattered everywhere in my computer. I don't know which ones are, it's getting to a point of where I don't know what's what anymore.
Right.
So I had to develop a system inside Notion. I think it came out last week. They have AI in it, and I believe that it is connected to Chat GPT. So I can take our podcast, which I did this with the last episode that we did, got the transcript from it, put it into my Notion note. Then I asked it to give me, to summarize that. Within 5 seconds, it summarized our entire podcast. I asked it to give me an outline. It gave a perfect outline of our podcast, which that's where your clips are that you're going to want to. So there it is.
Wow.
So AI is literally becoming a personal assistant for me for being able to do this show. Otherwise, it isn't sustainable to keep doing this with the amount of time that it takes to edit and then put it out and then to keep up with social media stuff. If you really and truly want to grow it, you have to have a system, and AI is allowing me to have that extra person without having to pay much. I think I pay $8. It's $8 a month for that with Notion.
Wow.
That's worth paying a person minimum wage for 1 hour out of a month. That would have just so yesterday, on top of all of that, I said, you know what? I'm going to go through all of my shows, every single one of them that I did, every show that I've done, over 20 of them since the beginning. I went to YouTube. I have an extension in Chrome that will take the transcript from the YouTube videos. Took each transcript from each show, put it in my notes, transcribed it, and got the outline of it. I did all of that for all 20 plus shows in an hour, less than an hour.
Yeah. Incredible.
It would have taken
crazy,
one person a month
Incredible.
to do that. So that's some of the power of how it can be used to be productive and helpful.
I mean, what about I think about like school and arts. I mean, just off the top of my head, you're like school. I mean, good Lord, if you were in school and need to write a whatever, boom. I mean, prompt it to what you want. How are they going? They're trying to make software to find out if it was written by by AI, but
there's a GPT 0 that's supposed to detect that some guy. There's a professor. I think I was reading earlier at Wharton University, and he encourages Chat GPT. He actually mandates it in his class. He teaches a class on entrepreneurship and innovation, and he mandates it in his class that you utilize it, because for him, he said, hey, it's like the calculator in math.
Right.
It's like we taught math, but now we have a calculator. Here's a tool, and you need to learn how to use it and utilize it. But just be honest when you do use it and cite what you used and how you used it. Know, so
and
it's some cool
and
stuff.
And then for like literary stuff, publishing ebooks. I mean, there's an easy one. Make you up some ebooks, put them out. I mean, it's like the T-shirt thing. It's like it's crazy.
Yeah, it really
is crazy.
It is. My daughter and I were talking. She's a sophomore at LSU, and I was telling her she uses Notion for her schoolwork for all of her classes and things like that. And in fact, I use all of Adobe's products to do all of the editing and things like that I do with the podcast, with Photoshop and all that, just do all of that stuff. Because she's a student at LSU, I can get it ultra cheap through her. She can use it too. She doesn't, but she could. Anyhow, we were talking, I was telling her about Notion. I said, have you used the AI part of that? Because I could see how that could come in really, really handy if you went to class. You recorded the teacher. You remember when we went to school back in the day, you had the little mini cassettes.
Yep.
It would hold 180 minutes or something like that. And I mean, those things were clutch.
Oh yeah.
Imagine now you can just do that with your phone, record it. You can put that into software that will transcribe it, and then you can take those notes, put that into something like Notion. You can have the audio clip that's there if you want to listen to it. You can have it to give you an outline, a detailed outline of everything that was discussed in that transcript. Bam, there's your class notes. Your class notes can be there in 5 minutes. And you,
That's crazy.
Yeah, you don't, I mean, I didn't tell her this, but I would find a way to record every class and I would never go.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, that's what I would do.
Yeah, I'd pay
I'm
somebody
like, man,
to record it for me. Yeah.
Oh yeah, dude. And I mean, the recording, the MP3 that's recorded from your phone of the notes, that's your cash cow if you're a college student.
Yep.
And then you even take it a step further, I'll send you the transcribed notes, $20.
Yep, absolutely.
I mean, I'm like, Haley, you
100%.
should. I maybe I should drop this idea to her because I'll do it.
Right.
If somebody will start sending me recordings, I'm going to start a service.
I bet somebody's already on that. I would bet somebody.
Dude, they have to
up
be
northeast somewhere is already 100%. On that, or northwest. And then going into like the arts, like y'all probably don't tell it to write you a poem. I mean, and it spits you one out like it's nothing. And then I've heard people already mentioning about songs. And that how does that going to work out when somebody has a song they wrote it by themselves? You're like, oh really? Or me and somebody co-wrote it, and it actually was a Chat GPT song. And if they do admit that it's a Chat GPT, what if somebody tries this? And I should probably do it first and be the guinea pig. But what if you get it? What if you write one through Chat GPT and somebody sings it? It goes number one. Who gets the royalties?
Dude, that's a great question.
Who gets the publishing on that?
That's where it does get sketchy.
Isn't that weird?
Because I've had it to write. I've given it some scenarios, and I've had it write a song.
Yeah.
And if I could put music to it, I could move some. It wouldn't be exact, but it gives you the idea that you could definitely. And I bet
it's smart enough. And if it's not, it will be to where if you had one of these guys who's like a track guy out of one of the recording towns, or a producer type cat who knows the right way to say what he wants the song to do. I bet there's a way you can even write in melody and breaks and how you want it phrased and different. I mean, you could really get specific on your prompts and make a song about whatever. If you say you had a topic, you had like an idea for a song. You're like, I got this idea for a song, but I can't figure out how to write it. Or let me just see if this writes it. I'm sure it would mess a real artist creative up to watch something else do it and then try to write the song. Or you get done with the song, then go just let it see what it would do. But prompt it with those things and let it put the song out. If you prompt it properly, there's your, how long is it before one of those goes number one?
Oh, it won't. I think within 5 years.
I bet there's probably already been one in pop. Probably
we don't know.
Oh
yeah. Look, if we're getting this stuff now, the last 2, 3, 4 months that the whole public is starting to be able to get this stuff's been around.
Yeah,
it's been there for 10 years.
Right.
Yeah. At least. I would think. In 2010, 2011, the processors and chips were strong enough to be able to do a lot of this stuff at a minimal level, and it's grown, and now it's almost, it's to a scary point now, really, because it's at a tipping point of it is true that it is going to take people's jobs. This is going to a million %. It's going to take people's jobs, but I can see it also opening up things. But where you're going with it, with the laws and the copyright and that type of stuff, that's going to get weird, especially in the music industry. Whenever I would think that over the next 20 years, you're going to have less and less successful songwriters.
Yeah, well, and you think
where
about
they make a living writing songs. Well, some of those guys
and journalists too. I mean, if you're a print, any kind of print service or online type, any kind of
they'll write it for you now.
Yeah.
They can search. It can search the internet for different stories and then write a story based off of that and put graphics and all. Like it'll do all of that stuff.
Oh yeah,
automatically.
Have you seen the one
and stuff?
what is it? What's the one? I just did it the other day to look at it. Mid Journey, the one where you do the.
Oh yeah, I did
stuff.
some Mid Journey last night. Actually, I was telling my son about it, and he said, "Dad, we have a little miniature dachshund." He said, "Dad, I want you to. It'll make a picture with like a miniature dachshund eating a hot dog." And I said, "Well, yeah, absolutely. That's no problem." So I went into Discord, popped it in, and then showed him. And yeah, it does it. It's just it's
Yeah, I
nuts.
haven't messed with that.
Oh yeah, Mid Journey and Chat GPT as they have their thing, whatever it's called. I can't remember. I've got it right here on my computer.
But yeah, Chad, you
tell
it to draw a picture or make you a painting of any style, whatever you tell it to do, it's going to make you a rendering.
Can do it.
Oh yeah,
Wow.
and yeah,
That's crazy,
I'm going
man.
to start using Mid Journey for a lot of the artwork and stuff that I make with thumbnail clips.
Yeah,
with the show because
Why wouldn't you? Why wouldn't you?
yeah, I mean it makes cool stuff. Like I haven't. And you can you can do all it's insane.
It's
Don't get me started
fascinating
on
and
that.
scary at the same time because it's fascinating because it's so cool because it's so ahead, it's so fast that you think, wow, we got this. We did not have this just a few years ago. This you couldn't imagine when we were kids that this would ever exist. And it's terrifying because this is how Terminator started.
Exactly. It's
exactly
the rise. It's the rise of the machines. Yeah.
And then I'm telling you, when you watch Ex Machina, you're like, yep. So
yeah,
I can just tell you this.
Yeah, I got to get on that.
Then you're gonna have people saying, well, they're computers. They have souls. They have hearts. They have love. I'm telling you, after you watch Ex Machina, they do not have souls. They do not have a heart. Spoiler alert.
The handler makes a strong stance.
Spoiler alert. Fucking machines. I know y'all gonna hear me. I'm halfway home. I'm 43. Hey, I'm halfway home anyway. Ain't gonna be me fighting this fight, but y'all better watch y'all's ass because I'm telling you, this stuff's crazy. It's coming.
It's coming.
It's exactly how Terminator started. And you think about too, now all the stuff we're doing, even the stuff we're doing right now, when we were kids, that was on TV and that seemed crazy.
Oh yeah, dude. Yeah. We're creating full-on TV programs from our homes on a computer and putting it out. And now we're like, I wonder if enough people will see this or not. I wonder. That's the concerns. Let alone the fact that we can do this.
It's crazy. And have any piece of knowledge in the world at our fingertips.
Just right there. Yeah, exactly.
It's total insanity.
It's
total insanity.
Chad and I talked about, I think in one of the first episodes that we did, maybe the first episode, I remember going into the mall when I was, 10, 11, 12, upper end, high end mall, had all that technology and stuff. And they had the AT&T had this, either a store or a booth or something. And it was like the first video phone. This was 91, 92, maybe 90. This was early on, and I was like, this is going to be so cool. And the picture was like the size of a GoPro screen.
Yep.
It was grainier than this that we're looking at. Yeah, it was just terrible. But I was like, this is going to be amazing.
Yep.
And then you didn't hear anything from it until 2010 or whenever the iPhone came out, and then bam, here it is. It's officially here. You could take pictures with your Blackberries and your Razors and all of that, but God, they were terrible.
Yep.
When you look back at them, they're damn near unusable pictures to even look at.
Right.
But then once the iPhone came out, the whole game elevated up. Now, that was truly
research and development.
When they look back 100 years from now, that'll be a pivotal point in history of when society changed and the way that everything is consumed. Everything. I mean, that affected just the ripples from that affected everything to where we are now with AI. I believe that will be another point 100 years from now when they look back on history. 2022, 2023. I think 2023 is truly going to be the year of AI. AI kind of came out, really got its popularity there at the end of 2022, but this is the year of people are starting to make money on it. It's starting to be profitable for people.
Yep.
And then they're all going to crash. A lot of half of these companies that come out doing this stuff, they won't be here in a couple of years.
Yep.
Your Jaspers and your
Yep.
all of those things that utilize some of that technology to help people,
And
to
one
be
or
personal
two,
assistants.
one or two will be around, will be big for and grow and grow and grow and be big forever. That's the weird thing though, is when the machines do take over, what are they going to need us for? I mean, how are we going?
They won't.
How are we going to figure this thing out?
No,
And we're not helping ourselves.
just to
We're
buy stuff from them. Just to buy
Yeah,
stuff from them.
I was going to say, and we're not
That's
helping
it.
ourselves because we're just
consumers.
tearing up our green blue earth we got here, just ripping it to shit on the reg.
Yeah.
So I mean, we're just filling it up.
Maybe
fast.
Dude, it's
We'll
just
just spin out.
it's pretty much, I think, what we're going to do is just we are spinning out pretty much. I mean, think about when you go to Walmart now. Like, you go into Walmart, they don't have but like two, 3 checkout lines.
Yeah.
Everything else is self checkout
Yeah.
because of the iPhone and people getting used to that.
Yep.
I mean, it's smart. I actually go to Walmart more now than I ever have in my life because I can just use the Walmart app and scan stuff while I'm in there, go to the thing, put my phone up to it, walk out. I don't have to bag it, wait on anybody, anything. I can just go put it in my truck.
Yep,
and
just scan as you go. Scan as you go. That's it.
Which I like that. You know,
Yeah.
I think that you can do that.
I do too.
I think you can do that at Whole Foods, and I'm sure there's a lot of other places that are doing that now too. But Walmart was smart to jump on that technology wave. Of course, I mean they should. They're the biggest. Them and Amazon, the biggest in the world.
And Amazon
But,
started as a book company, 15 years ago?
Isn't that crazy?
Isn't that crazy?
And then
It's
here,
insane.
now they have everything, and I couldn't live without Amazon.
Nobody could. Well, you think about when you think about that, we think about what we've seen. Then you think about like what our parents saw because they came from the generation before us, which was different. I mean, they were all driving stick shift, and I mean, it was, you're still getting a meal on an airplane. You dressed up to go to the airport, and I mean, you could still go to Mexico City on vacation, and it didn't cost 20 grand, and you probably wouldn't get killed, But when they were little, there was 4 billion people on this planet. Now there's 8 billion.
That's true.
I mean,
That is true.
and now you talking about that little bit of time, and it took us that long of a time to get to numbers like that, and where we're at now, and then, more people and then the resources. It's a sticky one out there, man. I don't know. I think we're gonna have. Hopefully, we have someone come along that can unify everybody and get us on the same page and start trying to do some things to help ourselves and let good overcome evil. But boy, it's a tough fight.
That is, that's very well said. And that's exactly what needs to happen. I don't care if you're a Democrat, Republican, what it is,
or from anywhere in the world. I don't care what country you come from.
I don't care. But we all do need to. We got to all get on the same page because it really is true that the resources are going away. The numbers don't lie. It's a math. Look at the numbers.
That's what I'm saying. We're going
at,
up.
what, 12?
Yeah.
We're going to be at 16, and the next generation will be at 20, and so on. I mean, it's just going to keep multiplying. Eventually, you run out of room. There's only so much inhabitable places on this earth. I mean, there's still plenty of room in the United States, in middle of America, that it could grow and could hold people. But China, it can't.
India cannot.
I mean, India can't. There's places that are running out of
countries.
room.
And then
Before
then you, like you said, habitable too. You got to have somewhere where you have resources. You have to have water, and you have to have tolerable. But I don't know. It's going to take a group effort.
It is. It
the
is.
whole world.
100% it is. So Chat GPT, before they edited it down and governed it down some, it actually, when you ask that question, what are you going to do about the overpopulation of the earth? Or do you think the earth is overpopulated? And it says, absolutely, I do. What would you do about it? And it was saying, I would make a one, like you could have one child per family all the way around the world. And then it asked, how would you enforce it? And it said, by all means possible. That's before they governed it down.
Wow.
So, but but it's true. We got to do something here to try to, limit this. Like we've only got so many resources in so many places, so much land, let's we're going to start growing gills somehow, and some of us can live in the ocean.
Even that, we're going to have that good and screwed up before it's time to go swimming.
Oh, 100%.
No, not our
100%
our leader, Chat GPT, will take us.
Right.
That will get us there.
Well, it's kind of like, there was a cartoon movie when we were all just little blobs up in spaceships flying around. What was that, Disney or Pixar, one of those? Man, basically it was just people at this point were just living in these spaceships, and the robots ran. Was it Boxy?
I don't
know.
I don't remember.
It's one of those Pixar movies, something about a box. I can't remember. Anyway, it's a space box. But anyway, at this point in the future, yeah, we were just had these machines hooked up to us, and we were just little blobs in these crates in these ships flying around, happy, rich. But the world's on fire with these robots scavenging around on it. I guess I don't know. I can't remember. But anyway,
well, I mean, it really and truly is concerning, because 100 years from now, just like just try to even imagine. I go back and try to think about like my grandparents. My mama and papa, or my papa was born, I think, in 1918. He died early 2000s. But the stuff that he saw in that time period was mind blowing, and it blew his mind.
Yeah.
And I remember talking. He loved basketball. He loved the run with Michael Jordan and the Bulls. I would go out to their house just about every night. They had a satellite, so one of those old school huge satellites. The old school. Yeah, you pressed it and you would go watch it turn.
Oh yeah.
And it'd take about 5 minutes to lock in.
Love it.
But it was I would go out and watch just about every NBA basketball game that there was. And that was something that we liked to do. Well, he would always, of course, tell me stories about back then and growing up, and he would always end it with the good old days. I'll tell you about them good old days. I don't want nothing to do with them good old days. These are the good old days. Yeah, he was like, I don't want to go back to not having air conditioning, not having ice. Ice was an issue to get. Groceries, you had to kill everything. I mean, you lived in the country. You had to you grew up that way. You grew up during the Depression.
Right.
And then to go on and see TV invented, then see people land on the moon and go into space.
Fly on an airplane. Yeah.
All of that stuff, which, I mean, he saw what it was like basically coming out of the late 1800s and the Depression years. He saw what that was like to where it was in 2000 when he died, and he couldn't even imagine it. I can't imagine even 40 years from now, 40, 50 years from now, hopefully, when I die, what this place will be like. It's so much crazier than it was when we were kids. It's advanced like 5 times faster, it feels like, than the previous generation did with technology. And you have to only think that this is going to continue, and it'll be 5 times more than what it is now in the future. But that you can have full-on podcasts, full-on radio shows, full-on everything with AI-generated voices that sound just like you, which is going to be a whole nother issue.
Oh yeah, so they've got Radio GPT already being launched, and so you don't even need the DJs anymore, and you've got host of television. It's a big threat to guys, just jockeys and stuff around the country, man. I'd be terrified.
Maybe it's the abstract creativity in human minds that they'll need. You think about that. You think about our pawpaws. They got stories that there's no way those computers can make up stories. They don't even know about the things that Pawpaw was talking about.
Where's the human element?
Lingo,
when you're talking about a restaurant,
this,
how good is that sandwich, man? What's it do to you? What's it feel like?
Like the feeling of something. Like you said, like you were talking about your Pawpaw. Same thing. My granddad in Mississippi, he was a sharecropper. 13 kids. Dad died when he was young. Another thing, a lot of death. You lost a lot of people. There wasn't a lot of health care back then and stuff. And
right.
But he said that. He said, I asked him about what about the Great Depression and stuff. He said, hell, we broke when it started. We was broke when it was over. We didn't even know no different. You know what I mean? They
Right.
left Oklahoma.
We always lived that
Bowl
way.
and back in Mississippi or something, and
my grandmama said the same thing.
and he had to.
She's like, we didn't even notice.
Yeah,
it.
right. He had to quit school in second grade because he had to go work the cotton fields and make money because they had to work. He was second oldest. Went to the Army when he was like 17 or 18 or something, and but to think about from what they saw and those stories they have about like the little nuances of those stories, there's no way they can replicate those, I don't think, unless they have. But what they are going to have, they'll have ours going forward because it's videoed and recorded. There's some way to find
correct.
it. We only have these tall tales the way we have to tell them, which is a lot like a lot of the stories we have from ancient times, biblical times, all that stuff. It's word of mouth and barely way better than it is any other forms. It's still the spoken, so maybe that's the only reason that they've let us stay here this long. Maybe that's the better question. maybe we just figured it out. We better shut up.
Maybe we still entertain them. They still like, they're kind of fun. We'll keep them around.
The three guys down there in the South talking smack about us. Let's let them go. They're funny. We'll let them go. They don't know shit.
I'll screw this
they don't
broadcast
know shit.
real
Let
quick.
them think they know. They're fine.
Other than that, we'll let him look. And on the back end, they're about to birth a woolly mammoth here soon. Have y'all seen that? Oh, yes, sir. They figured out some crazy white elephant that they're going to be able to take the DNA of a woolly mammoth and birth it through this white elephant. And we're going to have woolly mammoths back on the earth again. So in the month all this AI take over, we're going to have probably at some point dinosaurs roaming the earth. That'd be a scary thing. Imagine a velociraptor out in your front door. Wow. You're going, let me get in the
I don't
house.
think we need all those.
Velociraptor looks mad.
I don't think we need all those, but I do think not a bad idea if there's some way to safely do it without causing craziness to bring back like some of the animals and species we've lost in, say, the last 100 years. Or something, because of us, like wouldn't be bad. Well, we got buffalo and bison, but like some of the fish and some of the birds and stuff we killed out in America and all the other places where it got overpopulated too fast. I'm sure lots of places in the world, but then we just kill them again because we're idiots. The problem is that the earth and the creatures. The problem is us. We created this Chat GPT Terminator. We killed all the shit we need. We're tearing up the shit we need. We can't keep it.
Oh, we have a short-term memory,
Do you think it is possible that this has happened before? Like this whole deal has happened before. Earth got reset, and then here we are again, and we're back and because there's no way you can explain those pyramids to me. I've done a little bit of research, and sure, I went down a Joe Rogan hole of pyramid research, but how did they do that? It's mind-blowing that any one civilization, that's what they decided their purpose on Earth was to make that.
And well, there's got to be a lost technology. I personally don't think they got to exactly where we are right now. I think when the decks got reshuffled each time with major cataclysmic events, that a lot of stuff did get retained by the few people, the percentage of the population that were in the caves, which seems like now most likely where anybody survived. That they did hold on to some, and some were passed around. And every time these things came through, it wiped a lot of stuff just away, and only a few things remained from each time. To the point of, you think about even how a hurricane affects our coastlines now. On that level, think about that, So I think we've lost, it's not crazy to think that so many things got just totally washed away and wiped away with changing of the tides and all that stuff. Totally plausible with hurricanes and crazy shit that goes on with our climate. But so I think certain technology and certain things did get passed along. That's how we stayed ahead of the game, and we're able to outfight our species and outfight our rival predators and competitors for space and food and survival. But I think there was a lost technology somewhere, because anywhere they got to, the stuff that they were doing, it doesn't seem like there was any way they could have had the power and the technology stuff like we did with petro fuels and things like that. I don't think there was anything involving that. But I think they had tapped into something else. Only one that sounds right to me is something to do with sound, vibrations, things like that. Man, I can go on this one forever, but I think there is a lost tech. I think there's a lost. Yeah, I think there's a lost. There's got to be a lost technology there, because forever they thought, that everywhere, enslaved people they would use manpower and civilian forces and things like that in mass numbers, but still, these things are so big and so massive on such a scale that just doesn't seem like, and from so far away to roll things on logs and to do this. I mean, and again, if they did, there's a technology we didn't have, again, because we never did that. We used rivers and stuff because we never tried that way. So I think the sound thing, I don't know if it was mantras and chanting, or if it was percussion, or what it was, or something, because you can take something real big, you get it vibrating right, a little sand under it, you can move stuff along. Take a car. If you take a car and your buddies get on both ends and start bouncing it, you can bounce it and move it.
Yep.
Some form of lost tech. I don't think it was laser beams or them harnessing the sun to make power rays, or I don't necessarily think aliens gave them something to help them move it. I think there's something more realistic that we just didn't get passed along, or wasn't attainable, maybe because the Earth was frozen for a long time. They didn't need it for so long, it got lost.
Right.
To where we had to have fire, and we had to make a wheel, where we might not need to move no big boulder if we're living in this cave for thousands of years. I don't know,
Can you? I mean, imagine what those people think if they saw this shit today.
Think about even like your great grandparents.
Oh yeah.
That lived in a cat that just could get, probably life expectancy is about 40.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Mortality at birth's like it's small percent. I mean, you talking about you never left the majority of people in the world never went more than a couple miles from where they were born their entire life.
Yeah, that's a fact. That's my great grandparents.
That's what I'm saying. That's just a couple of people ago.
That's right.
Yep.
That's right.
We're talking about these technologies that were thousands and thousands of people ago in our generations.
That's right. And it's insane to think, how did they move all that stuff? Because they wouldn't be, I just don't see how one whole tribe of folks or a whole people, that's what they decided that they're going to do. And that's their life purpose, is to build that. You still got to eat. You still have to procreate. You still have to live your life. It seems like it would have been a meaningless purpose that's still not explained. So I mean, there's an explanation out there for it, and I guess that's what keeps people driving. There's somebody's trying to figure it out. Be the first person to figure it out. I don't think anybody's ever going to figure it out if we haven't done it yet, but AI might.
Oh,
just to bring it back.
By the time we do an episode of this in December, I bet we're going to have a whole different conversation.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
You're exactly right.
It may not be as an evergreen episode as I hope for it to be.
We'll see how this one ages.
If I put this thing out in April, it'll be like, shit, that shit was 2 months ago. What the hell's they talking about? That's old news.
You're like, oh yeah, I'm still hiding in my basement. AI's after me. It's caught up to me. It's shut down everything I own, taking over my bank account.
If my computer starts, I just flinched. My phone lit up. I was like, hey, all right.
Yeah, it's been too long. It's like it's time for you to come back.